Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT. We are currently at week number 3. What's up guys, my name is Reyes and this right here is Santi and we're gonna be your casters for today. Kumusta men?
Ako sobrang excited lang ako, Reyes, sa paparating na week 3. Alam naman natin kung gaano naging matindi yung first 2 weeks ng BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT. And unti-unti na nating naaabot yung inaasam-asam natin na makumpleto yung 4 weeks para mag-advance tayo doon sa invitationals for November.
Literal halfway na tayo throughout the circuit. Week number 3 ang place natin. But all this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors because the BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT is organized by Leo, Rockhart, and Totoy Lagkit and is presented by Dark League Studio and is supported by Code Bladers, Code Unknown, Xtrude 3D, ToMii's Beyblade, Tamiya Underground, Playcafe, Worth Saint, and Celes. And we thank everyone that helped out in this tournament because this is all for the community of BEYBLADEX here in the Philippines.
Ngayon na nasa na tayo, no, week 3, nakikita na rin natin kung sino yung mga players, sino yung mga bladers na paulit-ulit na sumasali, nakakapag-rack up ng points. And ito yung kagandahan para dito sa BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT, Reyes. Meron tayong point system na every time sasali sila, may 1 point. Pag nag-top cut, another 1 point. And pag pumlacing ka nung 1 to 8, may corresponding points din. And of course, for the Swiss King, meron din.
8 points?
8
maximum
points
para sa mga champion. But we'll get through that in just a bit because this is our format because, again, the tournament is for 3G, 5 rounds of Swiss, and the top 32 single elimination. So it's your regular pod para sa day ngayon.
Ito yung usual naman, 5 round Swiss, tapos may top cut. Ayan, 32 out of 100 players. I think decent naman siya para masala talaga kung sino yung mga deserve na pumasok sa top cut. So hindi madaling makukuha ng mga bladers natin ang basta-basta yung mga points na na-mention kanina. And there you go, yan po yung format ng circuit points natin.
And speaking of points, play in 4 pods in October to secure circuit points. We're currently in week number 3. The top 32 bladers with the circuit points qualify and get an invite to the finale in November. Again, we went through this already. One circuit point per registration, another point if you get in top cut, 5 points for Swiss King, and 8 circuit points for the champion, and 7 down to 1 circuit point from 2nd to 8th place.
Maganda na mayroon tayong ganitong pagkakaiba-iba mula doon sa mga circuit points na nakikita natin para talagang alam natin kung sino nga ba yung may pinakamarami. And there you go. That's our circuit points leaderboard for the whole BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT. So sa naganap na week 1 and week 2, makikita na natin kung sino yung top 1. And nakikita natin dyan, si Weatherlight Kevin.
And everyone at the top of the leaderboard is literally former champions from our last BEYBLADEX tournaments and broadcast. Pati si Coach Jamal.
Actually, si Kevin hindi siya nag-champion. Ang champion is si Calvo Sarado and si Tidal Drew. Pero dahil Swiss King, itong si Weatherlight Kevin, kaya siya nakapag-rack up ng ganyang kadaming points. Ibig sabihin, meron siya 7 points for being the second placer. Tapos 5 points para doon sa kanyang pagiging Swiss King. And pasok din dyan yung pagsali niya from week 1 na participation at kung nag-top cut man siya. So 16 total points. Isipin mo, naungusan niya yung tumalo sa kanya na si Tidal Drew dahil siya yung Swiss King.
Kahit di ka nag-champion, basta palo ka mag-Beyblade. If you get in top points, you're gonna rack everything up and it's gonna accumulate over the next 4 weeks. So kudos to Kevin, pero Calvo Sarado, Jamal, Drew, we've seen them like dominate our past tournaments.
Itong 4 na to, ito yung mga finalists talaga. And currently, dalawa pa lang naman ang mga Swiss King at Swiss Queen natin. And that would be Aswang Mami Kai with 8 points for being the Swiss Queen for week 1. And Swiss King nga, si Weatherlight Kevin doon sa week 2. Kaya naman, ganun kalaki yung pagtaas ng kanyang puntos.
And you mentioned na sobrang hirap pag to work your way onto the top. It's already hard to register itself kasi out of 100 players, sa loob ng 8 minutes, sold out na agad.
Nauubos talaga. And yung 1 point na yon just by registering, malaking bagay na nga. Tama yung sinabi ni Reyes. Hindi ka basta-basta makakasali sa BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT kasi nga, the moment na mag-open up yung registration at 4 p.m., agad-agad na itong nauubos. Marami yung kilala, sa totoo lang, na gusto sanang sumali, gustong humabol. Nagpi-PM pa sa akin na baka may slot daw ako. Wala po, boss. Doon lang po tayo talaga magre-register via PLVR na pinopost on the FB page para nga talagang paunahan sa pag-scan ng QR code.
I've seen a lot of posts dun sa mga break-on ng mga Facebook group na, wait, but di ko kasali. Kailangan talaga maunahan. You know, it's just part of the game. You have to stay tuned and you gotta lock in upon the announcement in either the BEYBLADEX METRO CIRCUIT Facebook page or the Dark League Studios page. So, you gotta lock in, guys.
Kailangan lang talaga. Ang tip ko ang binigay sa kanila nakaraan dyan, mag-alarm sila before 4 p.m. And I think naging effective siya nung sinabi ko last week kasi mukhang mas mabilis na naubos ang ating slots for this week. And yun nga, napag-usapan na natin yung hirap ng pag-register. Napag-usapan na natin yung hirap na makatagos sa top cut. Now, marami na namang nakalinyada na mga matches para sa atin today. Of course, I'm already expecting na may mga kakaibang mga meta na naman tayo dito matutunayan.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of releases. May upcoming na parang Wolf Hunt, Emperor Might, pero may na-release ng Clock Mirage, the new kid on the block.
Si Clock pasok na.
I expect to see this today.
Nakita na natin na pailan nilang beses nung nakaraan. Hindi yung nagkakamali. Ang naalala kong gumamit si Code Ram tsaka si Weatherlight Illuminato. Sinato ang dalawa silang nakita ko via stream, pero hindi natin alam sa taas sa ating Synergy Pod. Baka may ibang gumagamit din.
Hey, we'll never know. There's gonna be a lot of Beyblades and we have a lot of good Beyblades on the line. But before we talk about that, let's take a look at the Synergy Pod. Nangyayari na ang mga Swiss rounds natin.
Ongoing na yung Swiss rounds natin na nakikita ko sa camera. Ang pinaka-idol natin, Weatherlight Siopaw. Ayan, si Bossing. Yan, isa sa mga iniidol at tinitingala ko. Yan, ayan, kita mo. May pagkwentuhan. Idol na idol ko yan, si Boss Siopaw. Comment kayo sa comment section natin kung idol nyo rin. Sabihin nyo,
who you rooting for?
I-mention nyo si Boss Siopaw. Ano yan? Lodi ng lahat yan.
I'm trying to look at the Beyblades na nilabas nila. Medyo malabo, may wedge ba? Yun, basta. Ayun, may Widow or Hover. Basta. There's a lot of stuff to expect. At yung mga judges natin, big shout out to them as well, serving our integrity for our Beybladers.
Nagsisimula na nga, nakikita na natin sa taas while we're preparing dito sa ating battle arena kung sino-sino maglalaban. Ito po yung proof na sa taas po ongoing yung Swiss rounds. Kasi maraming nagwo-wonder baka paano daw na konti lang yung napapanood natin. Selected lang po yung mga matchups na na-feature dito. Tsambahan lang din talaga. Pero ayan, huge shoutout sa mga nanonood po sa ating live stream, mapa YouTube man or sa ating Facebook. Shoutout sa Beyblade X Cam Norte. Pa-shoutout din sa Team Garuda daw, sabi ni Garuda. Tapos si AC Del Rosario Palma, sabi ni Boss Aaron. Shoutout din sa Kings Brigade from Ayala 38.
Big shout out to everyone in the chat and keep on commenting on the comment section below because we need all of the support and the players as well that they could get. Let's not dilly-dally. We're gonna head into the action. Let's head on over to the battle studio for our judge.
Alright, welcome to our third week of Beyblade Metro Circuit. And for our first match, on B side, representing pop culture, we have C9.
C9.
Any shoutouts or C9?
Shoutout sa girlfriend ko. Nanonood.
Alright, shoutout to
Nice.
Team Pop.
Team Pop Culture. And for our X side, representing Celes, none other but Celes himself.
Ayan, shoutout kay Mami Celes, Kendra. Shoutout sa Celes Group, lahat ng mga staff ko.
Ayun.
Then, shoutout Alpogi, Totoy Mola. Miss you.
Alright, C9 versus Celes, ladies and gentlemen. And we've seen them in action before, right?
Si Celes, marami-raming beses na rin. We've seen him play and usually ang nakukuha niya pa nga mga spin finish. Kaya nakakatawa doon, ang spin finish natin dito sa BEYBLADEX Metro Circuit spin finish by Celes.
Spin finish by Celes. So, yeah, Celes, representing Celes, and mahilig siya mag-spin finish brought to you by Celes. We'll
Mismo.
take a look for a minute, but yung mga bagong graphics natin, no? Ganda. Aura!
Galaw.
New stuff! kudos to our prod.
Right, all set.
A lot of animations and it's good to look at, and it's gonna give a lot more spice for our broadcast.
Alright. First bay. For B side, we have Shark Scale, 170 on low rush. Again, Shark Scale, 170 low rush for B side. And for X side, we have Wizard Rod, 160 Hexa.
Yung mga
Again,
klasikong build.
Wizard Rod, 160 Hexa for X side.
So we've seen this
Positions.
matchup before, Shark Scale 170 low rush and Wizard Rod 160 Hexa. Both staple combos.
Later set. Later's ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Napakatindi nung launch dito ni Celes. Iwas lang talaga sa first contact. Pero nabalikan!
Uy!
Babalik ka ba?
Kabilaan!
Hindi na! Napakagandang
Bye,
buyback
Shark
sana. Coming in from
2-0.
Celes. Trying to survive pero hindi pumayag. Yung Shark Scale ni C9 agad tong binalik sa kabilang pocket.
Ganda sana yung survivability ng Wizard Rod. Ayaw mapunta ng pocket. Ito yung buyback. Pero Shark Scale says, no! Go to the other side!
Napakaganda ng tulak to the point na nung bumalik, sakto lang din eh.
Alright. For second match, we have Wizard Rod, 160 Hexa for B side. Again, Wizard Rod, 160 on Hexa for B side. And for X side, we have Shark Scale, 170 on Rush. Again,
170 rush this time.
Shark
Alright.
Scale, 170 on Rush for X side. Checks your beat. Rockets.
Ayun, palitan gaming. Mala one-upsmanship para sa long bladers natin.
Oo,
Later
swapero.
set. Later's ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good
Pero
launch.
this time si Celes, gamit niya ay rush instead of the low rush na ginamit kanina ni C9. Delay ang gustong gawin ni Celes, ngunit nasungkit siya ng Wizard Rod. Ngayon, tatambay ng bagya. Hindi naman ata magiging enough yung pitik na hinahanap niya. But
Uy!
there you go!
Ito, shades of
Comeback
last
play!
time.
Gumana na para kay C9. Ang malas naman ni Celes na nung sa kanya dapat gumana yun, agad siyang binalik pa kabila.
3-0.
Pero this time, C9 ang mamamayagpag via spin finish.
I'm pretty sure that is luck completely on the side of C9. Ito yung huling nangyari na buyback from the left, the B side pocket, but it's not gonna happen for Celeste's Shark Scale this time around.
Right. For our third match, we have Cobalt Dragoon, 960 on Elevate. Again, third bay. Cobalt Dragoon, 960 on Elevate versus Cobalt Dragoon, 560 on Elevate for X side.
Ayun,
Okay.
iba na to.
Cobalt
Usually
Dragoon,
560 yung mga
560
combo
elevate.
natin.
On
But
X side.
960 on C9.
Magandang balanse. Maaari natin matunghayan dito from C9. Tingnan natin kung anong mangyayari ha.
Scratch everything that we know about spin steal. Left spin versus left spin.
Later set. Later's ready. 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Maganda ang pagkaka-launch na
Uy!
na-replace. So with that
Yun lang.
contact, magiging enough para may sumabog. And ang sumabog ay yung
So, 3-2.
Beyblade ni C9. 960 ang pumutok. So it's gonna be a first finish para kay Celes.
Buhay pa rin si Celes. Sobrahan yung extreme ng Beyblade ni C9. Kahit yung 960, just a huge burst. Man, that's such an impact.
Ang ganda nung pagkakalatag. Pero ayan na. Shuffle na kagad.
First bay after shuffle, we have a mirror match. Wizard Rod, 160 on Hexa
Naku.
for B side. And for X side, another Wizard Rod, 160 on Hexa.
Widow,
Again,
160 Hexa.
Wizard Rod, 160 Hexa.
It all comes down to RPM.
Oo, RPM, iwas dash, good hits. Yan yung mga factors na maaari nating abangan sa matchup na to.
It all goes down to who is the better blader.
Later's ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Beautiful launch coming in from
Linis.
both bladers.
Uy!
Kaso nga lang nag-dash yung Berding Wiro. Naku po, medyo madedelikado yun sa stamina. Mauubusan siya ng tuluyan. Pero pag umabot na sa puntong ganito, nakalmado na, ang i-hope mo na lang dyan, walang tulakan na mangyari.
Uy,
Pero
daming pitik.
kita naman, lamang na lamang yung dilaw.
Okay, kita natin yung mga detalye ng Berding Wiro is starting to lose a lot of stamina and we're gonna... Uy, malilo na siya, pre.
Yun nga yung problema, pag masyadong malakas din yung RPM mo, tapos sakto yung pagkakalapag mo para ma-force na mag-dash ka kagad. And with that, talagang makikita natin
There it
ang
is.
ebidensya na
Spin finish,
mauubusan
Yellow
talaga
Wizard
ng
Rod.
lakas. And
4-2.
there you go. It's gonna be a spin finish for C9 securing the win 4-2. C9 will take the win.
It's an unfortunate situation na napunta agad sa X-Rail galing kay Celes. And the spin finish brought to you by Celes, pero naka C9 ang victory ngayon.
Si C9 ang nakapag-secure this time. Hindi natin nakita yung spin finish ni Celes by Celes. So, burst finish lang ang na-secure niya doon sa matchup na yun. For round 1, GG well played para sa dalawang bladers natin. Pero, ang ganda rin ang naging balasan nila Ray Ash dun sa Wiro Wiro Hexa.
I love it, and it's pretty interesting na nasa third spot yung mga dalawang CDG nila. So, they really hoping for that mga equalization, ganun. Pero like, it's a different matchup like all around. So, yeah.
Ngayon, mag-aabang lang tayo ng next matchup natin. Tingnan natin kung sino ang nakapila for our battle arena. Pero habang nag-aantay tayo, huge shoutouts sa mga nagko-comment, nanonood. Guys, mag-comment lang po kayo. Masya-shoutout talaga kayo dito po. Lalo-lalo na every in-between matches. Huge shoutouts kay Corinne. Ayan. Salamat sa t-shirt, pre. Solid. Ayan, PM niyo yan si Corinne Bautista. And also, shoutout din kay Raven Ian at kay Sir Dan Cubangay. Nasa Pasay daw ngayon.
Watching from Pasay, he is the man, the myth, the legend. Pati shoutouts kay Paul Agleron, si Bayer, Check Duarte, baka tagyan, as well as Jeffrey Perida, Finn Espiritu, and Kenneth Ryan Rabang. Big shoutouts to everyone. We read everything in the chat, and we hope to get more support as well as the players that you are rooting for.
Shoutout kay KR, ayan, tsaka kay Sika Mua Allen. Sa pagkakaalam ko, bossing, ang challenge link natin nasa community chat. So, if gusto nyo po makita nyo yan dito pag skinan nyo po yung QR code na nasa Gedli ko. Ayan po, join our community. Maaari nyo pong makita po doon yung updates for our BEYBLADEX Metro Circuit. Yung shoutouts din sa Ubal, City Blader, sabi ni John Villaflores.
Pati shoutout kay Adrian Pangilingan Carillo. Shoutout po sa Yonko, Tito, and Tita P. Alright, you got a lot of support there. And speaking of support, let's see if you can support these bladers. Coming up next, let's head on over to our judge.
Alright, for our second match, on B side, representing Roleplay Bladers, we have Tortang Dragon. Yun. Solid. Any shoutout, sir?
Shoutout sa asawa ko.
Alright, shoutout daw sa asawa niya. For X side, representing Saint, we have Hot Plate. Any shoutout, sir?
Shoutout Saint Pinoy Yakitori.
Baka nagutumago agad. Tortang Dragon, laban sa Hot Plate.
Pero naman mga
Ay, si Tortang Dragon. Ito, naalala ko to si Bossing. Matindi-tindi to. Matindi to si Tortang Dragon.
Tell me more.
8-ball hot plate ang magiging katapat niya. For Tortang Dragon, RR days pa lang. Aktibo na si Bossing. So, it's fun to watch players na talagang medyo matagal-tagal na rin sa eksena.
Alright. Once again, Tortang Dragon versus 8-ball hot plate. As we see our judge checking the parts to make sure everything is good and dandy. Walang tampered, walang fake, and everything's legit. And here's our builds by Playcafe.
For our first bay, for B side, we have Shark Scale 160 on Rush. Again, Shark Scale 160 on Rush for B side. And for X side, we have Shark Scale 360 on Hexa.
Ayun o.
Shark Scale 360 on Hexa for X side.
Regular attack build laban sa mga landmine
Positions.
build ng Shark Scale.
Bladers set. Bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good
It's the
launch.
Rush versus the Hexa, pero you can see the Hexa dashing right away.
Uy,
Wow!
finish.
Pero napakaganda ng dash
3-0.
na magmumula kay Tortang Dragon. With that beautiful extreme dash, agad niyang matutulak yung ine-expect dapat nating makunat na Shark Scale Hexa.
The extreme finish brought to you by Xtrude 3D. A beautiful dash from the Rush. Boom!
For our second bay, for B side, we have Wizard Rod 960 on free ball. Again, Wizard Rod 960 on free ball. For X side, we have Samurai Caliber 960 on wedge.
I personally love the Samurai
960
Caliber.
wedge for X side.
I personally use it on stamina, but this time it's on
Positions.
wedge. The wedge tech and
Blader
Samurai
set.
Caliber,
Bladers
kaya
ready.
niya mag-stabilize ng
In
Wiro.
3, 2, 1, go shoot. Checking for
Ay,
area.
oh, ganda naman ang pagkakalapag doon. Kung good yun, extreme din pabalik ha. Possible na makabawi kagad si 8-ball hot plate.
Destabilization thrown off the window, extreme agad, pero checking muna ang judge natin to see if it is an aerial or something. Kasi sobrang bilis nangyari na.
Oo, masyadong mabilis, Reash. Nung pagkakalap
Good launch.
And
It's
there you
good!
go, it's a good launch. Agad na nakabawi si 8-ball hot plate via extreme finish as
finish.
well. Now we're on to match point. This
Last base.
is gonna be the
Bounce muna.
official last base.
Grabe. Okay, bounce muna and just isang pitik na lang and a kick back into the extreme.
Alright, for our last bay, we have Hell's Blast Jaggy 360 on low rush. Again, Hell's Blast Jaggy 360 on low rush for B side. And for X side, we have Wizard Rod 160 on kick.
Ooh!
Again, Wizard Rod 160 on kick for X side.
Grabe, iba talaga yung tech. One kick Wizard Rod versus the regular attack
In
blast.
positions, bladers set, bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good
Maaari
launch.
nating ma-expect na lamang talaga sa stamina yung Wizard Rod dito. Dagdag mo pa yung kick na maganda rin at disente ang stamina. So tingnan natin kung makakapalo ba itong Hell's Blast na to. Makatulak, mukhang hindi ata. Ang ganda ng stability na meron dito ang Wizard Rod. Blade advantage, even the bit. Lamang
Spin
na lamang
finish.
siya. So that is gonna be a
Wizard Rod.
spin finish. A win para kay 8-ball hot plate.
4-3.
Ang ganda nung naging laban na yon.
Wizard Rod has the OWD advantage. Kahit attack bit, kahit balance bit, the pure shape of the blade and the plastic itself, it can simply outspin anything on any kind of bit.
GG well played para kay Tortang Dragon. Ang ganda nung simula na siya yung naka-extreme kaso agad siyang
Sino
nabawian
kalaban ni Sir Bato
dahil
Sai?
sa ganda ng lapag dito ni 8-ball. And for the last bay, yung matchup na yon, luging-lugi talaga yung Hell's Blast. And ang inaasahan na lang sana doon ay yung tulak na inaasam-asam niya. Ngunit hindi yun nangyari.
Yeah, Pegasus Blast is a chunky blade. Kahit may Jaggy for more pitik factor, it's not gonna fade the Wizard Rod when it's keeping on moving around kasi nasa kick siya.
Yun nga eh. And ang ganda ng Wizard Rod kick Ako, I like the idea on why would you do a Wizard Rod kick. Gusto mo nung tulak, tapos gusto mo rin ng stamina. So, up against a Shark Scale, up against any attack blade as of the moment, I think yun yung pinaka-decent. It would beat a payong build, yung usual na Wiro 160 rush or low rush. Kasi better stamina yung kick.
Yep, and usually yung mga balance bit na kaya nilang the win, if you don't want any sort of attack, like ginawa ng Hexa, may Unite, then I'm pretty sure I saw one using taper as well. So, ayun, the vision is there, and Wizard Rod is simply a really good blade.
Tingnan natin kung ano yung mga kakaiba pang mga ano natin, no? Mga builds natin on the next upcoming matches.
I'm excited, and let's head on over back to the battle studio. Let's go.
Alright, for our third match on B side, representing Tamiya Underground, we have Batosai.
Ooh.
Sir Batosai, any shoutout?
Shoutout dyan sa TU Boys natin.
Shoutout sa Tio Boys. And for our X side, representing Yonko, we have T2.
Ayun na
Any shoutout,
sila.
sir?
Shoutout Tamiya Underground and Yonko, tsaka Kamanapa Peaks.
Ayun, Batosai versus T2. Ito yung match natin.
Ito nga yung maganda, no? Kasi magtotropa din yung mga taga-Yonko. Actually, kakasagawa lang ng
Taba talaga.
Grand Tournament ng Yoko doon sa Tamiya Underground. So, talagang magtotropa itong mga players natin. Di Batosai and T2. Tingnan natin kung yung matchup na to. Ay, ayun na. Pinikutan na ng ripcord. Oy, Batosai na Batosai.
Nasibang battle tayo, pre. Again, builds by Playcafe. Thanks to our judge QT for checking the respective parts for everything and everything good for our Beyblades.
Ganda nung nung graphics na umiikot na ganyan, no?
Oh, may aura, may
aura.
ikutan.
May nin, no? May nin yung yung
First
mga
bay.
Beyblade.
Alright, for our first bay, for B side, we have Aero Pegasus 760 Bagong Rush. Again,
Bagong Rush.
Aero Pegasus 760 Bagong Rush.
White Rush.
And for X side, we have Shark Scale 170 on free ball. Again, Shark Scale, 170 free ball for X-Side.
When he said bagong rush, galing sa BX46 Infinity Stadium.
Oo, yung kulay puti.
From the Cobalt
Leader set.
Drake.
Bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot.
Sa
Good-
papugian ng
checking for,
Beyblade, makikita
for
mo talagang
Totoy
lamang si
Sakay.
Batosay dito. Pero stamina-wise,
Possible.
Uy.
lamang na lamang masasabi natin itong
Bye,
Shark Scale. Sumausaw yung Aero Pegasus ni Batosay. Pero for checking tayo,
Tumama kasi yung blade sa amin. Nakita ko.
He's either checking Lay or checking Shroud, we won't know. But I have to talk about the free ball on the Shark Scale. Shark Scale free ball, like, it's kind of like low orb, landmine din.
Blade sa kamay.
mas mataas lang onte, pero you get the idea. Gusto niya talaga ng stamina, kaya niya
May
binawa.
warning po tayo.
Warning one.
Warning 1 for Yonko T2.
Right, relaunch time.
Blader set. Relaunch tayo. Bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Beautiful launch coming from both bladers. Napagapang ni Yonko T2 yung shark skill niya, ngunit natulak pabalik. Tignan natin kung may sipa pa ba na manggagaling dito kay Batosay. Aero Pegasus, yun ang win! Kaso nga lang sipa pabalik ang nangyari mula sa shark skill ni Yonko T2. That is gonna be an extreme finish.
Extreme finish by Xtrude 3D. That fatigue factor of the Shark Scale is OP as hell. That's from the last match, but let's take a look at the extreme finish. That's more like it. Tingnan natin. 1, 2, 3. Adjustment muna bago mag one-hit punch.
Alright,
Match
for our
point.
second bay, we have Wizard Rod, 160 on free ball. Again, Wizard Rod, 160 on free ball. For B-side, for X-side, we have Cobalt Dragoon, 560 on elevate. Classic matchup.
Alright.
Magandang matchup to.
160 free ball though, may only fatigue factor. So we'll see if that will come into play to prevent Cobalt Dragoon from getting that passive in.
Relax, relax, relax. 50 tayo. 50. Bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Usually, binuo yung ganitong klase ng Wiro, pantapat talaga sa mga CDG. So, tingnan natin kung magiging epektibo itong ginawa ni Batosay sa kanyang Wiro. Usual naman yung ginagawa ng CDG, kumukulit, pero mukhang nakakaiwas yung Wiro. So, tanggal na kagad yung factor nung spin steal na gustong mangyari ng CDG. Pag ikaw kasi yung CDG, gusto mong tumatama ka ng paulit-ulit. Pero you can see right now na unti-unti nang nauubusan ng stamina yung CDG. And nakakaiwas yung Wiro ni Batosay.
Grabe talaga. This is the best case scenario para sa Wiro kasi nakita natin doon sa matchup ngayon.
Nasobra niya.
Tatlong beses na naka-reverse extreme dash. So tagong-tago talaga from that CDG, preventing it from getting that spin steal.
3-1.
Dito mo makikita na
Hindi
epektibo
pa tapos ang
talaga
laban.
yung build ng free ball sa Wiro up against CDG. Kaya medyo nakikita natin, aside sa paglabas ng shark scale, yung mga ganitong klase ng builds yung nagtatanggal ng CDG
For
sa
our
mga
third
team.
bay, we have Shark Scale 960 low orb for B-side. Shark Scale 960 low orb for B-side. Then for X-side, we have Aero Pegasus 760 on rush.
Wow, ang ganda. Parang
Again,
switcher lang
Aero,
Parang
switcher
switcher lang.
760 rush.
Pero instead of the
Nagpalit
low
lang
orb, free ball kanina yung gamit ni Tito.
Tama. So it's a black low orb, right? Galing sa sa black black pink
Laser set?
wizard art.
sila. Bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good
Parang
launch.
naka-collector skin. Parang naka-collector skin tong si Batosay. Kaso nga lang natulak
5.
nung aero ni Tito.
Over finish.
Malinis na over-finish para
5-1.
kay Yonko Tito. That is gonna be a 5-1 score. Nabigo si Batosay sa laban na to.
Sayang na sayang talaga kay Batosay, but
Oh!
T2 get the last laugh, man.
Ginilitan.
Nauna daw kasi si Yonko Tito. Ang ganda ng
Yan
lapat
lang.
din.
Tama ba
To be
natin
fair,
karma?
yung bitaw ni Batosay, maganda rin eh. Sumakto lang din talaga na yung placement ng Aero Pegasus nandun sa angulo papuntang pocket.
It's just a moment of action na hindi mo kaya kinontrol kasi nasa Beyblade na yung behavior natin. So like, yeah, GG, well played. Congratulations to Yonko T2 up against Batosay 5-1 victory. So that's gonna be a huge differential para sa kanya right off the bat.
Maganda. Let's talk about the point differential dito kasi sa ating format. Ang laking bagay ng point diff pagdating doon sa challenge kasi madaming mga 3-2 yung magiging standing dito sa 5 rounds of Swiss. nananaisin na magaganda yung score nila. So, if you're playing on the Swiss rounds and 3-2 ang inyong score, ang gusto mo, dun sa 3 wins mo, malayo yung point. So, either 4-0, 5-0, wag mong papuntusin kalaban mo. Tapos, pag natalo ka naman, dapat at least may 2 to 3 points ka para hindi ganun kalayo. Kasi, yun ang isa sa mga pinagbabasihan natin. Kasi, lahat naman kayo magkakaparehas ng standing.
Don't forget, Santi is 32 out of 100. So you really gotta have that huge difference. Kailangan magdalawang extreme para makapasok sa top cut for that additional extra point.
Yun din talaga, isa sa mga factor kung bakit may ibang mga players na hindi ma-achieve yung top 32 top cuts. Kasi to be honest, it's really hard not unless you're 4-1 or 5-0. Even yung 5-0 nga na pinaglalabanan, usually ang daming 5-0 pagkatapos ng 5-round Swiss eh. Tas after nun, point diff yung pagbabasihan natin. So, makikita mo doon na may magkakaroon ng Swiss King or Swiss Queen. Tapos may isa din na 5-0 pero bakit hindi siya yung Swiss King or Swiss Queen? Yun po yung sasagot sa tanong na yon. Point diff talaga ang pagbabasihan ng ating mga bladers.
Yep, you wouldn't want to be a scenario where naka 3-4 or basically like 1 point difference because again it's a close match. You're not gonna like exactly dominate in your matches, diba? But let's see if it's gonna happen in our next matchup. Let's send it over back to the battle studio.
Right, for our last match for round 1, for B side representing ToMii's Beyblade, we have MDJ. Any shoutouts, sir?
Shoutout sa community ng ToMii, HTK, Kawan, tsaka sa tropa kong HOB, Sunati, tsaka sa girlfriend ko nanonood.
Congrats. And for X side, representing Saint, none other than Saint Pablo Saint himself. Ano Saint to? Shoutout, sir.
Shoutout sa wife ko, sa anak ko si Saint Pablo, Pinoy Yakitori, and Saint.
Alright, pa-check na lang ako ng mga bets.
Alright, MDJ versus Saint. Tell me more about him.
Actually, hindi ako ganun ka-familiar pero nakikita ko yung t-shirt na kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Tama ba, bossing, yung mga t-shirt na Saint? Kay Pablo Saint yun?
It really is Saint, no?
Oo, sa kanya ata.
Ay,
So,
nice, bro.
matindi-tindi ang mga merch din ni Sir Pablo Saint. Yun lang ang si Team MDJ. Tingnan natin kung anong dala din dito sa laban na to.
I want one of these shirts. Where Saint, nakita ko yung shirt mo na nasa iyo kanina and like, man, looking really hot and I really want more.
Alright, goods.
Alright, goods daw ang mga parts
Check lang
natin.
yung judge natin.
Paki-check lang yung beats and ratchets. Double check.
Alright, let's take a look at the build. It's brought to you by Playcafe from both of our bladers.
Alright, for first bay, on B side, we have Shark Scale, 960 on low rush. Again, Shark Scale, 960 on low rush for B side. Then for X side, we have Hover Wyvern, 960 on kick.
Ayun.
Again, Hover Wyvern, 960 kick for X side.
Yan, scale and hover wyvern. Yan yung modern day John Cena versus The Rock. Yung matchup natin is just too overpowered base para sa akin.
Positions, bladers set, bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Attacker laban sa attacker. Yun ang matutunghayan natin. Nagkaroon ng habulan, nagkaroon ng silipan, pero wala namang tutuloy doon sa extreme pocket. And right now, when it comes to the stamina, maaari nating sabihin na lalamang si Shark Scale because of the blade advantage. But let's see kung may sipab ang dala-dala, itong kick ng hover,
Spin
pero
finish.
mukhang hindi ito
Shark Scale.
gagana. That is gonna be a spin finish para doon sa Shark Scale ni TMMDJ.
Shark Scale has the OWD advantage, is stabilizing hover wyvern. And yung unang, in the first few seconds, puro habulan-habulan, man.
Alright, for our second bay, for B side, we have Wizard Rod, 160 on Hexa. Again, Wiro, 160 Hex for B side. Then for X side, we have Aero Pegasus, 760 low rush.
Yun. Tank
Again,
build
Aero
for
Pegasus,
Aeropegasus.
760 low rush for X side.
Tank attack build para kay
Positions.
Aeropegasus. And the classic Guido 160 Hexa.
Bladers set. Bladers ready. In 3, 2, 1, go shoot. Good launch.
Atake ang magiging puhunan dito ni Pablo. So nga lang, nag-dash out, tumalon.
Extreme finish.
That is gonna be an extreme finish para kay TMMDJ.
4-0.
Ending the match 4-0.
Tumama sa
Unfortunate
kanya,
situation
ano,
para kay
mali
Saint.
yung launch.
He really got that launch in,
Dito.
pero wala,
Tumabi.
pretty much a self-extreme at this point, man. Kahit isang contact, man, you hate to see it, man.
Okay
Look at
din
this.
Hindi. Factor din yung tulak ni TMMDJ.
Ah,
Tumama sa Wiro, kaya nangyari yung ganong talon. So,
sayang.
masasabi natin, hindi nga launch error from Pablo Saint. It's just that, ang ganda rin nung naging contact nung Wizard Rod para pilitin na mag-dash right away itong Aero Pegasus ni Pablo Saint. TMMDJ, congratulations!
Congratulations to MDJ for that 4-0, and it's gonna contribute to a good amount of points for differentials in the next coming rounds. And just that situation, it feels so bad. It feels so bad na isang tulak lang pumunta sa extreme rail at iwas pa rin yung Wizard Rod at that situation habang naka-extreme yung Aero Pegasus.
Yun nga and hindi lang talaga gumana for Pablo Saint yung gusto niyang mangyari din on that particular matchup.
Yeah, we gotta see more. And speaking of, for our viewers out there, we gotta have to rely for a bit because of a technical a technical difficulty in our end. So you better sit tight. But we are going to be right back. The Beyblade action is still gonna continue. We're gonna see you in the next round of Swiss. Once again, my name is Rayash. This is my hero Santi. We'll see you.